Warriors fans, you're going to want to hear this. Draymond Green just dropped some shocking statements that have Dub Nation buzzing, and it might change everything. We all know Draymond is the heart and soul of the Warriors, the defensive anchor, the emotional leader. But now, he's openly questioning his future with Golden State. Could this really be the end of an era? With the Warriors struggling to find consistency this season and young players stepping up, the front office might have some tough decisions to make. Is Draymond still untouchable, or is the team preparing for life without him? Stay tuned, because what he just said might shake up the Warriors' future in ways we never saw coming. Hey, what's up, Dub Nation? Welcome back to Golden State fans, your go-to channel for everything Warriors. We've got some huge news today, and honestly, you're going to want to hear every single word of this, because Draymond Green has just made some shocking statements that have Warriors fans absolutely buzzing. Whether you love him, hate him, or just appreciate his impact on the court, there's no denying that Draymond is one of the most outspoken and passionate players in the NBA. But what he just said? Yeah, this is something else entirely. So let's dive into it. Draymond Green has always been the emotional leader of the Golden State Warriors. He's the guy who brings the fire, the energy, the defensive intensity that this team thrives on. And when Draymond speaks, you better believe people listen. Whether it's hyping up his teammates, calling out the media, or letting everyone know exactly how he feels about a situation, he never holds back. But his latest comments have left a lot of fans wondering about the future of the Warriors and, more specifically, his role in it. Draymond recently sat down for an interview where he opened up about a lot of things: his suspension this season, the struggles the team has faced, and even his own future with the Warriors. And let's just say, he didn't mince words. One of the biggest takeaways from this interview was his brutally honest reflection on his actions earlier this season. Now, we all know that Draymond's fiery personality is a double-edged sword. When he's locked in, he's the heart and soul of the Warriors. But when that passion boils over, it can lead to some, let's just say, not-so-great moments. And we saw that firsthand this season when he was suspended for his altercation with Jusuf Nurkic. Now, in this interview, Draymond didn't just brush it off or make excuses. He straight up admitted that he let the team down. He said that missing all those games because of his suspension hurt the Warriors in ways that stats don't even fully capture. It wasn't just about losing one of the best defenders in the league, it was about losing their emotional backbone. And for a team that's already been struggling to find consistency, his absence was a huge blow. And here's where things get even more interesting. Draymond actually hinted at the fact that he's had to take a step back and really think about his future. And this is where Warriors fans started to get nervous. Because if there's one thing that's been a constant during this dynasty, it's Draymond Green wearing that Warriors jersey. But in this interview, he acknowledged that the NBA is a business and that nothing is guaranteed. He even said that if the Warriors decide to move in a different direction, he has to be prepared for that reality. Now, let's pause for a second here. Because hearing Draymond Green of all people talk about the possibility of not being a Warrior, that's something that would have been unthinkable just a couple of years ago. This is the guy who has been the anchor of this defense, the guy who's been at the center of everything this team has built alongside Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. But now, he's openly acknowledging that his time in Golden State might not last forever. And that leads us to the big question: could the Warriors actually move on from Draymond Green? Well, let's look at the situation. The Warriors have been in a weird place this season. They've got young talent like Jonathan Kuminga, Brandon Podziemski, and Moses Moody, who are all looking to carve out bigger roles. They've got the veteran core of Steph, Klay, and Draymond still holding it down. But they're also facing serious questions about how to balance winning now with preparing for the future. And let's be real, Draymond's contract isn't exactly small. He signed a 4-year, $100 million extension last summer. That's a lot of money for a player whose game is so dependent on defense, playmaking, and intensity rather than traditional scoring. And while Draymond is still an elite defender, he's also 34 years old. The front office has to be thinking about what this team looks like in 2, 3, or even 4 years. But here's the thing, even with all of that uncertainty, Draymond made one thing crystal clear: he wants to retire a Warrior. In this interview, he straight up said that there's nowhere else he'd rather be. And honestly, that's exactly what you'd expect from a guy who has given everything to this franchise. He's been here through the ups, the downs, the championships, the injuries, the battles with LeBron, the rise of KD, and everything in between. Golden State is home for him. And that's why this whole situation is so tough. Because on one hand, Draymond is still incredibly valuable to this team. He's the defensive anchor, the playmaker, the guy who makes everything click on both ends of the floor. But on the other hand, the Warriors have to make some tough decisions. They've already shown that they're willing to shake things up. Just look at the Jordan Poole trade last offseason. If they believe that moving on from Draymond is the best move for the team's future, they might actually do it. But let's be real, trading Draymond wouldn't just be a basketball decision. It would be an emotional one. Because no matter what you think of his antics, his impact on this franchise is undeniable. He's one of the smartest defensive players of all time, a guy who has made life miserable for some of the greatest scorers in NBA history. He's been the ultimate glue guy, making all the little plays that don't always show up in the box score. And then there's the Steph Curry factor. We know how close Steph and Draymond are. They've been through everything together. And we also know that the Warriors front office has made it clear that their priority is maximizing Steph's championship window. So if Steph still believes in Draymond, if he still sees him as a key piece of this team's success, then you better believe that will carry a lot of weight in any decision the Warriors make. But at the same time, if the Warriors feel like Draymond's unpredictability is hurting them more than it's helping, they might have to make a brutal choice. It's the same thing that happened with Poole sometimes. Even if a player is talented, the chemistry just doesn't work anymore. And with Draymond's recent suspensions and controversies, you have to wonder if the front office is starting to think about life after him. For now, though, Draymond is still here. He's still a Warrior. And if there's one thing we know about him, it's that he's not going to go down without a fight. He's going to keep playing with that same intensity, that same fire, that same chip on his shoulder. Because at the end of the day, that's who Draymond Green is. But Warriors fans, this is where I want to hear from you. What do you think about Draymond's comments? Do you think the Warriors should keep him no matter what? Or is it time to start thinking about a future without him? Let me know in the comments, because this is one of the biggest questions facing this team right now. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you never